Why am I having so much trouble finding seeds? I even had a plan. I was thinking if I came down here to my moss farm, I'd get an absolute ton of seeds. Because when I built this in my single player world, I was getting loads of moss out of it, and I used all of the seeds to turn into bone meal, and I had absolutely tons of them. But when I tried to do it the other way around and put all the moss in here, I thought I'd end up with loads of seeds, but you know, I'm not getting many. Just a handful like this every now and then. Now I have a chest around here where I've been putting everything, and there are quite a few, but a lot of those I've got just from harvesting this wheat manually, and I think I've got more from doing this than I have from that machine, so that was a bit of a fill. But then I had another idea. I also have this flower farm on the far end of the island, and this is where I got some dyes early on in the game. So if we just turn this on, it's a horrendous noise, but I've got some bone meal over here in the dispenser, and that just creates loads of flowers and grass on here. And this is a very manual process, but I'm just taking all the flowers, dumping them in here to get a little bit more bone meal, and then just keeping the seeds. And this is a way better way of doing it, and I am getting a lot more out of this, but it is a bit manual, so I may have to come up with something else to collect all this and make this a lot more efficient. But for now, I think this is going to be the best way of doing it. And why do I want so many seeds, I hear you ask? Well, you know, for my favourite projects that I do in every Minecraft world. You know what I'm talking about, right? But before we get on with that, there are some absolutely massive tasks I want to get done today. So there's some big areas around here where the terraforming is just absolutely awful. So big project over here, which is the one that we're not talking about yet. And then the other stuff I want to do is over here. So we have this custom terrain we've built here, and yeah, I know, it's a good start, but it's definitely not done yet. So obviously it needs a lot of texturing because it's all just stone at the moment. And then at this side, definitely looking way better than this side, because when I do stuff like this, I don't like it just coming straight out of the ground. It just doesn't look right. You can just see that it's not natural and it just doesn't look right. So I need to do something along the edge like this where it's sloping up. Don't know what yet, but I think I want to carry on this kind of thing up with the course there all the way around here. And then we've got a few bits of the mountain as well that are very rough. I don't like these square bits here. I've got a bit over there that's really flat. Got these two. Definitely want to do something around this. And I also have an idea for a bridge going across from here to in here somewhere, but then I think it would be visible from in there. So I think I want to block this off as well. I am wondering, let's just go down there actually. I am wondering if we should have this as like a little river coming out. I don't know where it would go to. Or it could just go into the ground, I don't know. But I like this idea of having this coming down here and then maybe flowing out this way. So we could do something with that. But then we have another couple of things I want to sort out. So we have the slime farm up here. And this part of the mountain here, it just doesn't look right. And obviously it's blocking Byron's view of all the stuff I've got going here. So this needs to go. This part at the end of the runway, I think the way I said that explains why it's a problem, because if this is a runway, you just go splat into that, which that's not good. So I think I need to take that down a little bit, not too much, because this is like kind of a natural barrier between man and Barnaby's bases, so I don't want to go too mad with that, but I definitely want to change it a little bit. And then the big projects, the really big project, and my favorite thing, if you don't know already, is making massive wheat fields. So basically carry on what Cam's done over there. I want to do something absolutely ridiculous over here. So the first thing I want to do is mark out a path between my base and spawn, going past the tavern that Amradon built, and then I know Binary is starting to build a staircase down here, so we should probably connect that up. Yeah, I think these cobblestone pillars are going to be a staircase, and then we'll have a path coming out this way. I don't know if he's got any plans for that, so I won't do anything too concrete. I'll probably just do a path blocks, which is how I'm going to mark it out initially anyway, and then we'll go over here, and then once we've got that in, we can texture the path, make it all look nice. And then we'll fill in all this water and build a crazy wheat field covering most of this land around here. And if that sounds like a lot, it really is. Okay, so let's get the first version of this path marked out. And I am just going to use path blocks, just going roughly in the direction of spawn, but not in a straight line. I want to try and follow the land as much as I can. And I have brought a bucket of water so I can get rid of all this grass and get a few seeds out of it. But I've got a full inventory, so maybe not. So yeah, I have a full inventory of dirt because I also want to fill in all of these water pools as well. I may leave certain ones if they're not too much in the way. And I don't have tons of dirt. This is pretty much everything I've got. I think I've only got like another 3 or 4 stacks beyond this, which is a bit silly. Because, you know, I'm going to use loads. So I may have to find somewhere to mine a load of dirt from. But we're going to fill these in as we go. And then the path can just work its way around all of the terrain. Because I don't want it flat. I don't like flat terrain. I've said that many, many times. So we'll just keep it going around, but also being aware of where we're going and other roads that may need to come off it as well. So we mentioned already the one to binaries. So once I get there, I'll maybe fork the road. So one goes to spawn and then one goes to binaries. And I don't think I'm going to do one to hoaxes, because I think having that bridge for mine could be a good one. Or, you know, I don't know. Because there's a big hill there, I don't think there is a natural way of getting to that. So maybe going from spawn the other way would be a better way of doing that. So anyway, let's not worry about everyone else for now. Let's get my bit done first. Get rid of all this, and hopefully once I get rid of some of this dirt, I can pick up some seeds. Not that it's going to be a massive amount, but anyway, let's get this done. Alright, so we've got this big pull in the middle, and I think I might keep this one. So we could have like a little cliff face around here, and then the road going up this way. But I also thought this would be a good point to put a fork in the road, so this one could go towards binaries base, and then we'll have one going this way that goes towards spawn. And just coming up this hill, using the terrain as it is, trying not to do too much work, because, yeah, I've got a lot to do anyway. But we could make this look a lot better and have some decoration around it and just make it a bit of a feature, so it's not just one huge field of wheat. Even though I do like big wheat fields, having a little bits of interest in it as well definitely make it better. So we'll just continue the road along this way, and we should be good. Okay, so I've got the basic layout of this area pretty much done, I think, and I'm quite happy with how it's gone. There are a few little bits where it doesn't look quite natural, but, you know, this is just the first draft, and once we get all the other blocks in there with a little bit of texture in, this is going to look a lot better. Then, obviously, we need to get rid of all these water pools as well. Apart from those ones there, those are the ones that we're going to keep, and we'll make that into a little bit of a feature. And then I've also finished off the roads along here as well. So I've got this one going to binaries base. And then once I got that done, I thought it made sense to, rather than come back this way, that we had another one branching off there and going straight towards spawn. And then Cam can build one connecting to that if he chooses to. And I have just left binaries just there, because I don't know exactly what he's doing with this staircase. So I thought I'd just leave it there and he can do what he wants with that. And then this goes all the way to spawn, past the tavern and into the front of the tavern. And it also connects to the bridge over there as well. So that's gone well. I just need to do a little bit more decorating. But before we get on that, I've had an idea. Because we saw that seed farm not so long ago. I say seed farm. That's what I'm calling it. I know it's a flower farm, but I want the seeds. So what I've decided to do is build another one down here below this mountain. And I am going to fully automate it because, you know, I don't want to be stood there collecting the seeds and manually sorting everything. So I'm going to get this done under here. I'll have a look in a second. Okay, so here we are under the custom hill, mountain, whatever we're calling this. And this is my flower farm. So, sorry, seed farm. So what we've got here is pistons pushing the grass blocks back and forth. And then the observer detects that, powers this dispenser, and that bone meals this. So moving them back and forth, that breaks it. And then we have 3 hopper minecarts going underneath, taking the items up to here, and this automatically unloads it into this stream, and they all end up in this chest. So as you can see, we are getting a few red and yellow flowers as well, but that's alright. I've just been taking these out, and then leaving the seeds in there, because these sheep are so noisy. And then we're just leaving the seeds in there, and I will load those up in shulker boxes, ready for when we do the wheat farm. But all I've been doing with these flowers is bringing them up here to my moss farm. And this is where I've been stealing the bone meal from as well. But then putting these in here so it can replace the bone meal. And that goes into here. And then I just steal a little bit and put it in my dispenser. I do only have one chest on here, so I probably should put another one there. But, you know, this does the job for now. So turn this on. You can hear the racket as it's going. So there we go, that's doing its thing. All items sit on there, and then they pick them up and send them into this thing. And as that minecart gone on the wrong track. Yeah, that's keeps doing that. It's really annoying. But anyway, the items are coming in, and that's working great. So we'll get this turned off and get a bit more work done outside. Okay, so we made a good bit of progress there. This looks drastically different now, rather than just that big stone mess coming out of the ground. We've now got a lot more texture in there, smoothing it out a little bit, so it goes into the surrounding area much easier. And yeah, I've copied a few little bits I had down here, and also started adding in another couple of little bits. So we've got all the dripstone on here, as we had before, and then the coarse dirt, again, as we got everywhere else. But I've also gone a bit crazy with the moss as well. So I've covered this whole area with the moss because I was basically trying to get rid of this bluegrass. So I'm not a fan of it, and that's why I originally just did all this with coarse dirt and dirt. But I thought if we replace it with this... Oh, rain, go away. Alright, that's better. So yeah, anyway, the point I was making is I definitely prefer the colour of this moss than I do to the bluegrass around here. So that's what we're going with. I think just having patches of it here and there like this, I think it looks really good. So I may do a little bit down here, and I definitely need to do something over this side as well. You can see I've started there with a little bit of the dripstone and the soul sand. And then yeah, with the soul sand as well, I did put a little bit of nether water here and there. May have gone a little bit too foul that, but I thought just having the pop of red here and there, just do something a little bit different. It looked pretty good, and I think that looks alright. It's definitely different anyway. This is not a landscape I've seen very often, so I quite like it. So apart from doing this obvious bit here, there's some more subtle changes that you can't really notice. If we hadn't seen that time lapse, you probably wouldn't know what I was talking about. So this stone bit, this was really square before I did that. So I've smoothed this out, made it look a little bit more natural. And then there was another pillar going up here, which I've completely got rid of. So I think the shape of this mountain definitely looking a lot better now. And then similar thing over here. This was really flat at the front, so I've just shaped it down this side so it looks a bit smoother. And it's not directly in front of this runway anymore, so it makes a little bit more sense. And then done something fairly similar around the back as well. This was really high, and yet this does still need a lot of work because it's looking very flat at the minute. But I think it's looking better than it was. I do need to do something with it though, because if we just come over here and have a look back, this is, yeah, it's really flat and square, and I just don't like that. So I don't actually know what I'm going to do. I may have to dig out this first layer and have some kind of like retaining wall there. On the other two sides, it's much better. It just slopes up, and we can definitely turn in this into some kind of mountain. But yeah, that side, yeah, not so much. Unless I completely got rid of this, that may be an option. But no, I like having something here. So yeah, we'll see. Well, I'll get to that at some point. But I think I've had enough of building mountains for now. So let's move on to the next bit. Okay, so back over at spawn, and continuing where we left off last time, I want to do a little bit of work next to this bridge. So we've got this path, and this is the one that is going to go over to my base through the wheat fields. But I want to start over here, because this one is going to be a little bit different. So we've got a lot like the stone brick and the smooth stone over here. And that is not going to be over there, because that path is going to be a lot more rough. Obviously, because it's going through farmland, it's not going to be as built up as it is around here. So there's going to be a lot more dirt and leave a lot more of the path blocks in. So I just want to show you how I approach this slightly differently. Even though it's the same technique, we're just using slightly different materials. So around here, I am going to start off, I've got any slab? So let's shove my shulker boxes down somewhere, because what I actually want to do here as well is build a staircase and path up around this tavern that Amradon's built, which is absolutely crazy, but we can't just have it sat on grass, can we? So what I want to do is do a little bit of a path around here and completely change all the flooring around here. And if I get time, I'm also going to texture the walls on here as well, because I'm not taking over. This Amradon's idea actually was to have this as more of a collaborative build. So he's built the base structure, and he said that if anyone wants to jump on and do a few bits, they can. So I think what I want to do is start texturing the bottom walls and then also the ground around it as well, just so it ties in with this path that I've got going around here. So let's get some stuff ready and see what we can do. Okay, so starting with the path blocks that we already have in as a marker, we're going to just follow those along with a little bit of the coarse dirt. And the coarse dirt is usually where I start, because it doesn't matter what type of path you're doing. If you're doing a more built up one like this, or even like a more rural one like we're going to do over there, you're always going to have the coarse dirt in it, and everything else is the stuff that changes. So with the coarse, I like to have it more along the edge with the built up ones, and then for the rural ones, it tends to be, it's mainly coarse dirt. So the built up ones do tend to be a little bit more difficult in my opinion, because you tend to be switching blocks out and just trying stuff and seeing what looks good. The rural ones are really easy, because you basically just fill in all the gaps with coarse dirt and then go through and just randomly stick stuff in. I just found them a lot more difficult. But what I think we'll start with here is maybe adding a staircase into this. And I always start with one texture rather than trying to texture it too soon. I'd rather just get the shape of it with the same block, and then I can go through later on and change stuff up. So I think that's going to work, isn't it? And then we're going to need another staircase over here, and then we'll switch out for cobblestone with this one to make sure, so it looks like more like the path that we're going to have. And then if you need to change the terrain, no problem, go for it. Just something like don't like that. Go there. And that looks terrible. Not like that. Bring this out a little bit, I think. Yeah, I think that'll work. Right. Okay, let's get this staircase done. What I want to start doing now is putting some of the stone in here. So I said I want the same texture, and I haven't got it. So where is it? Let's grab that. And I'll just start digging a bit of this out, sticking some stone in here. And we will get to the course there as well. Now, I don't know what I'm going to have in the middle here. Obviously, this road is forking from here. It's going to go... Actually, it's going to go in 3 directions, isn't it? So, going up to the tavern, over through the rest of what I believe is going to be like a shopping district, and then this path that's going around the back here. And I think once we get up this staircase, we're going to go around the side like this. So I might as well just mark it out with path blocks. And then this will go all the way around. We've got stables back here, so we can really go to town and make this really dirty and have the course there. And maybe even some pods all in there, a bit of soul sand. And this will just come back around here. And then we could probably have this one connecting up here as well and going that way. So yeah, let's just fill all this in with a bit of stone. And then we can come through and rough it up in a little bit. This just goes from like solid stone like this into like dirty straight away, so I think maybe we should have a little bit more stone down here, something a bit more like that. Right, I think I can see where this is going now, so there's only one thing for it: time lapse. Okay, and after not too much time, we've got the beginnings of a path or a road around here. Don't know what we're calling it yet, but I think this is looking alright. So as I said, I've gone for a lot of stone bricks and the smooth stone over here just to re-emphasize what we've got this side and make it very similar, but we're also transitioning into some of the other materials as well. Got a little bit of coarse dirt in here, got the mossy stuff and the tuff as well. And then this goes up this little staircase here, which is looking quite fancy. I may have gone a little bit overboard on the lanterns. And do I have a slab? I have got a slab. There we go. Put that one there. It's missing. Don't like it. That's better. So yeah, may have gone a little bit overboard. May need to do something a little bit different with the lighting. But this isn't the final version. I will be doing a few more things. I'm thinking of putting like a flower bed around here. Maybe a raised one. And then having some leaves as like a border. Like we've got down here. Making it look nice and overgrown. But then as this is a built up area, not too much. And then when we come here. Actually, no, let's go around the other way. Let's see it properly. So we've got like the nice built up stone brick area, and then as it goes around this side, it's a little bit rougher. And then as we get inside the stables, we've got the pods all and the course there, just somewhere the horses would be happy to stay. And then I've also done a little bit in the walls as well, like I said it would. Anywhere it's overhanging like this, I've got it a bit mossy, and again, I'll probably put some leaves in here, make it look a little bit overgrown. And then done that all the way around. And then in these little like nooks in here, making it look really damp, like the moss and then that creeping up the walls as well. I think that's looking pretty good. And then when we come around this side of the tavern, I've kept this stone brick bit going up to here. And then as we come up to this bit, I'm trying to slowly transition into what we're going to have over there. So as you can see, there's less and less stone brick, no smooth stone up here at all, and a little bit more coarse there. So this is what we're going to try and do, but I'm not going to carry on down this way. I think what I want to do now is get over to the other side, because I really want to get on with doing the wheat fields, because we are quite far through this video now, and I definitely don't want to leave it without doing some of that. So what we're going to do is do like a rough version over there, and slowly build up to this thing from the other side. So let's grab my shulker boxes, I'll get over there and get a bit more work done. Okay, so back over at the base, and I have a massive shulker boxes over here now, and I've just been looking at this, what I did down here, which was basically just thrown down. But I think this is actually the kind of path I want to have along here. Now, it's going to look slightly different because there's going to be a lot more greenery, and then obviously the wheat fields around it. But this is basically what I want to do. So do I have any slabs? Let's get some slabs, and we can modify this a little bit. So do we need... No, let's not do all that. Just get a few of these. And what I want to get rid of this spruce, definitely. Because I think this needs to be stone, and I'm going to mix a lot more stone into here. So, as we did before, let's just do this all in stone. And then we can replace it with a few different textures as we go. But then, as I do this as well, don't just want stripes of grey, so I'm going to mix some stone into here as well, just so we have a bit of variety. So that is the first thing that we need to do. I also have on me a few leaves, because I'm thinking along the side of this path, to separate it from the fields, we should have some leaves going along, and best leaves in the game by far, definitely the azalea now, and then we also have the flowering one as well, because these look the same in every biome. Just like the birch and the spruce do, these don't take on the grass colour of the biome they're in. So you can use them anywhere and look exactly the same, and they're amazing. And I do actually like mixing them in with the birch ones. I think that is a really good mix. Spruce leaves definitely have the uses, but not for something like this. So I'm not going to be using those. So yeah, that is how we're going to have it. Probably going to have this a little bit wider. Like this, no. Like that kind of, yeah, I will modify this as I go. But we're going to have it like this, and then we're also going to mix in mainly cobblestone and coarse dirt down here, I think. Not like that. I'm professional, I know what I'm doing. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit of this mixed in. There's not going to be too much. It's mainly going to be the path blocks, but then just around the edges in particular, we'll have a lot of coarse dirt. We can even do it under the leaves as well. Something like that. And then we'll probably hide a few water sources under the leaves as well. Do I have a bucket? I do. Let's go over here. So I've got all these ponds to fill in as well, but I may leave some of them. In particular this one, because I did leave an area up there for that could be a river, and I think having it flow down into here, that could be a good idea. So I'll probably leave this one and work around that. Well then, over here, under these, we can hide a water source, and it looks pretty good. I don't think it's that noticeable, especially if we bone meal this, have some grass along here, and then I'm going to add in some flowers as well, like the lilacs, because I think that works really well with the azalea leaves. And then after that, it's basically just a case of holding the ground. No, right, don't have anything offhand doing this, because that happens. So we're just going to go far away from the water source, just like you would with any standard square farm. And when you're doing it on land like this, a really good idea is to hide the water sources under there as well. So bucket, I could probably do with a few more buckets, but I think I'm going to do the path first so I can clear out my inventory after I've done this, and then I can just go along doing all this. That looks terrible now. What happened there? Yeah, that's better. Right, okay. So then we can go from the water source, and you can't go one level up. So if we was to do that, that wouldn't be hydrated. But we can go on the same level. So 4 out from there. And that was a good guess, wasn't it? Because that's absolutely perfect now. And then we just, after that, just banging down a load of seeds, and we're there. So, yeah, nice, simple example there. But, yeah, I've got a long way to go. I've got to go all the way over there. Well, or as far as I can. I think I've got 3 full shulker boxes of seeds. Absolutely no idea how far that will go, but I'm going to do my best and see what happens. So, for the final time in this episode, let's get into a time lapse and get some serious work done. And many hours later, we are actually done. Can you believe it? We're still waiting for a little bit to grow, but yeah, very happy with how that's gone. That is looking very nice. And a little bit of a confession from me. I did intend to have this done a lot sooner, but I was ill for a couple of days, so I didn't get a chance to get it sorted. And in the middle of that time as well, we had one of our group play sessions, and we went to the end and killed the Ender Dragon. And we had a lot of fun, got a few end portals done. So yeah, it's been a while since I started this, but it's all pretty much done now. And I do have a few paths to finish off, like this one up here that goes to binaries, and then we have another one that cuts through there. I didn't do any of the texturing like we've done around here, but I may leave those a bit more rough anyway. Maybe just put some coarse dirt through it, that I could do. And then we also have this path that goes to spawn. I did start this a little bit, but I decided just to concentrate on the wheat fields for now, because I'm actually in a rush, because as I'm recording this, we are in the process of updating to 1.19. All of the mods are out now, like the replay mod and Optifine and all that good stuff. So we are going to be updating to 1.19 within the next few hours. I need to get off the server and let everyone do their thing. So I am going to cut it a little bit short. I'm not going to go through everything that we've been doing, but I do have to mention, we do have 2 new Ramblers on the server. We have Raven and also Legend, and they've both set up the bases fairly close to me. I can show you what Raven's been up to because his video has already been out, and if you haven't seen that, there'll be a link to his channel down below so you can go see that. But he is just set up his base over here, and he's going for a steampunk style similar to what I'm doing, so that could be interesting. Our base is developing together. And then we also have Legend, and I'm not going to show you what he's done because his video's not out yet. I think he's working on some bigger stuff that's going to take a little bit longer, but he is just at the other side of this hill from Binary, so I won't go over there, don't want to spoil anything. But the links to their channels will be down below along with all the other Ramblers, and I do have a chest there that I don't want to open yet because I want to explain that properly. So yeah, I am cutting a little bit short because I need to get off the server basically, but very happy with how this has gone today. Got this huge crazy wheat field done, and this is definitely a much better view from what we had before. But with that, I am going to leave it there, and next time we are going to be in 1.19, so very excited to get on with the stuff that's coming in that. We've got the new wood types, got the alley, the warden, and the deep dark, and all that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and probably a lot of death. But for now, we're going to leave it there. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.